Matt McGregor and Tone Vase. I just had a massive power outage across the whole street. So am I choppy? Let me know. I'm doing my best.
Well, you're choppy and your audio is like 3 seconds behind, but let's give it a shot. Just go right into screen share and I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, let me know if you can't hear me. I don't want to talk to myself. All right. I'm going to start on the weekly time frame. Massive week. This is a really important show, man. Massive week. 6th of October last year, and I've been saying I'm looking for a weekly green diamond. I think that's a win for me and for Alpha Numerics and for you guys watching, that I've been that consistent and had that result from it. It even came down to the very, very close to the 200 simple moving averages, which is where I wanted it to as well. The good news is on my side, I started peppering in. I woke up, but the price was just above 60, 61, something like that. And I started like just peppering and buy as it was rising, because it was rising very, very fast. My average entry right now is 65,800 after I started using leverage and started juicing the position. Not ideal. I would have loved to have woken up a little earlier, but I got up a bit late and I didn't know it was going to collapse that hard. I'm satisfied with the entry, but it puts me in a really good spot, okay? Because if this price continues to come down towards my average entry price, it's a very, very large position. I'm not going to let it go into negative. I'll just close the position out at break even, but then I won't sleep. I'll be looking for just to put the same position on at a lower price, because I still believe this is a great zone to be in. Never in the history of Bitcoin has it been a bad time to stack sats on a weekly green diamond. So if I can get it lower, fantastic. But if it just rallies from here, I'm very, very satisfied with that spot as it is right now. All the other oscillators still look absolutely terrible. The MACD is probably historically terrible, which again, I like. Look at this. Look at the MACD on the weekly time frame, going back to the history of time. It's never looked as bad, which I kind of like. I like that it's so bad and kind of looks like a bottom to me. Kind of looks like a bottom. And should that bottom come in at only $60,000, I see that as a win, a real big win for us, because the last bottom that came in, which you all know, and the weekly green diamond was very, very good there as well, was down at 15,500. So if the new bottom and the one prior to that, which you obviously know, forgetting the Black Swan event, which just retested the lows, it never got as low as the previous green diamond, came in at 3,200, right? And then before that, you know the story, right? So if this weekly green diamond is worth its salt, which the last 3 times it's been money for jam, if this is it, and the bottom is 60,000, where the last one was 15, and the last one before that was 3, I see that as terrific. Fantastic that this is the new bottom, because it's putting in that higher low on all of the bottom of the bear markets. All right. So terrific. I couldn't be more happy. I'm jacked. I'm jacked to the tits. All right. But there's issues, right? There's issues like the daily time frame, where the rally only came to the 7 simple moving average. And you know how I feel about the 7 simple moving average. It's just support. I mean, resistance until it becomes support. Like a rampant bull market, it's support, right? And in a rampant bear market, it's resistance, right? And at the moment, it's proven to be resistance. Now, I would love to see this flip, but it hasn't yet. So that leaves the door open for further downside, and I can re-up at a lower position. It doesn't invalidate the green diamond if the price goes lower, okay? I want to make that really clear. The green diamond, weekly green diamond, is not the only lowest possible thing in the world. It means from here on out, all buys are good long term. You've done it. You've held through a 50% correction. Now all of your buys were better than your DCAing. That's what I've been saying about the DCA. You're now done better. You've saved yourself 50%. Now start your DCA. Hammer your DCA button from here on out. 4-hour time frame, I'll just finish with quickly. It's the same thing as the daily, right? We have using these 30 simple moving average as on the 4-hour time frame, and the in correlation with the 50 and the 7 resistance, and like we've done it again. Like the 50 has been resistance. This looks like it's rolling over. So I see on the 4-hour, it's a great way to get an example of what I see happening. We'll either put in like a higher low here and put in a really good W pattern where this was the bottom of the market at 60,000, and I might get spooked and the price comes down to like my entry at 66, 65, and then puts in a higher low, and then we can rally from there. Very, very positive stuff. I don't mind that. And so that's why I can't sleep, because I got to be vigilant of that. Or, like we do crack above the 50 simple moving average here. And I think that's done. I think we're done there. Or we roll over and go way lower, and I'll just buy way lower. And I'll just use the same strategy as I did. I will not hesitate. I will not look at that green diamond and think, oh man, I think it's going low, blah, blah. This is it's like a bot trade, but the bot is me. And I know this sounds like I'm just talking about myself. And maybe I'm talking to myself now because there's no internet. I don't know. But
we hear you. We hear you. Yeah. You're good.
Good, man. Good.
It got better, actually.
Okay, good. Well, that's good, because I wanted to get this point across all Thursday and Friday, and you spoke for me on Saturday, which I appreciate. But what I'm saying about myself, it's just my own personal opinion. You can tell me to go myself for all it matters. But if you like me and you think that I have some good insight, then perhaps you might want to enjoy the same kind of reward that you might have from buying on a weekly green diamond. Coming back to you in the studio, Tone, please like and subscribe. Please share it with your friends. I mean, who else in the world of YouTube said you should wait and hold off for a weekly green diamond except for this show right here? And I hope that that's appreciated in one way or another. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends. That's the way to do it. Join the Discord group. Tone, take us away, brother.
All right. Now, here is my look. Yes, the green diamond is here. We also bounced off of the 200-week moving average and the MRI support line, which has been around for a year and a half, which is kind of cool because that's rare. That such a support line remains there for so long. We had one that lasted a really long time. It got broken because of FTX for like a few weeks, and that was the recovery. If it wasn't for FTX collapsing, or had FTX collapsed earlier, would have been nice to see this MRI support line hold and then rally off of that with the MRI buy as well. Now, we are still missing the MRI buy. I have to say, so these three things, the green diamond, the bounce off the MRI support line, and the bounce off of the 200-week moving average, they're making me a little bit bullish. Maybe the green diamond is making me bullish the most out of everything that's happened. Also, I know your trading record going back the last, 8 years at these kinds of, crash levels has been absolutely excellent. It's actually probably potentially been some of the best on the internet.
I'm gonna clip that. I'm gonna clip that and have it in my epitaph when I die, brother. Thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
But
Mhm. No, I'm going to cut it there. I'm not going to
yeah,
include
and I kind of really put the word but. I am smack in the middle of the fork war that I know you're not paying attention to. And I must say, I don't think I've ever been this pessimistic on the future of Bitcoin survival than right now. And my counterparts, and I kind of, you watched the last show, right?
Yeah.
So um, let's say there was 100 people. Let's narrow down the pie to 100 people, or 100% of the pie of people whose opinions on Bitcoin I respect. And I respect that opinion because these people have been, they saw Bitcoin earlier than me. They got in earlier than me. They have more Bitcoin than me. This is one of the reasons. They have been Bitcoiners. They've never shitcoined, or maybe, for like a week or something. And I respect these people because they saw the vision before I did. Another group of people in this pie are people that are more technically competent than me, people that actually, code in the Bitcoin world. They have some commits, or they're able to read the code. They have expertise in, setting up Bitcoin security, or they're people that have, been on the Bitcoin standard. They have businesses in Bitcoin. They have left the fiat world. They've built some of the most used services in Bitcoin, things like that. So if we have this pie of 100% of these people, or let's say 100 people, uh, maybe 5 of these people are pro knots, and I'm probably making it too many, right? It's probably about 5 people that are pro knots, and maybe even 3 people that are pro BIP 110, because not everyone that's pro knots is pro BIP 110, but everyone that is pro BIP 110 is pro knots. So it's kind of like a one-way peg here. So by percentage, it's probably, less than that. But by humans, it's probably about 5 people that I respect that are pro knots, and maybe 3 of them are pro BIP 110. Now the rest of the people are against it. The problem is, maybe I'm in this bubble of Twitter and I need to just get off Twitter. But it feels like out of the Bitcoin world, it is more like 50-50. Even though the people that actually understand the technological side, the technical side, people that have been in it longer, people that have actual wealth to lose, like out of these people, the percentages is like 97-3. I mean, it couldn't be any more skewed against how dangerous and stupid BIP 110 is. But when you're on crypto Twitter, and I am on crypto Twitter, it really starts to feel to me like this is going to be a serious, like, Mike Tyson style punch to Bitcoin. And because I'm in that Twitter bubble a little bit, I'm really concerned Bitcoin is going down to like $10,000 because of that, right? Because of all of these people that really have no clue what they're doing, and the small minority, or like the one developer they're following over a cliff. And how far is this mob gonna take it? I don't know. The small mob of the Bolsheviks in the Communist Revolution took it pretty far, right? So I don't know. I don't know how much the irresponsible minority is going to try to completely centralize Bitcoin and destroy everything that was built. Like, I have absolutely no idea. I am tempted to get off crypto Twitter because it's literally has become too toxic. I really thought that the final boss Bitcoin needed to defeat was going to be this combination of traditional industry plus government. like this fascist state of government plus the big company, the big corporations. I really thought that would be the last boss Bitcoin would have to fight through, but it looks like the governments and the big companies have capitulated onto Bitcoin. So the final boss now ends up being toxic Bitcoin maxis because they can't accept the fact that governments and big corporations have embraced Bitcoin. So they have to become the enemy of themselves. It's really insane what is happening. But that's also because I'm in the weeds of this whole mess. So that is making me reasonably pessimistic.
I'm hoping that it's like the war in Ukraine, where it's like if you just stop paying attention, it's not happening anymore unless you're in Ukraine or Russia. Do you know? I'm hoping it's like that. Like, is there still a war in the Middle East? I don't know. I couldn't give.
They're gearing up for one. It's kind of like the Venezuela. It's like the Venezuela thing, right? Like I canceled my trip to Venezuela in October. I was supposed to go to Venezuela in October, early October too. I was supposed to go, and the moment I was supposed to go, like literally 1 week before, they start blowing up, speedboats and fishing boats, and they start sending. The big, like the destroyer, like the big U.S. Marine fleet towards that region. And I'm like, fuck, they're going to invade any day. So I canceled my trip. I could have easily gone on my trip, right? Because they didn't invade until like 3 months later, right? So it's the same thing in the Middle East, right? So
they invade. They just sent 6 special forces guys in to sort it out.
Yeah, but it's still an invasion, right? But the reason they did that, right, is because they were like bribing politicians, and they were basically orchestrating a way to get their desired result with the minimum amount of American casualties, right? And they achieved their goal. But it took them like 3 months, but they could have attacked Venezuela any moment, right? That's why I canceled my trip to Venezuela. So it's the same thing here in the Middle East with Iran, right? They're going to attack Iran. The question is it going to be tomorrow or is it going to be next year? Because the U.S. is trying to do it in a way that would minimize the U.S. casualties, basically. So it's kind of, so you don't know when it's going to happen, but yes, it's going to happen.
Back to what we do here. This is a conversation we got snowballed on.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the price action.
I am concerned, like from a TA perspective, we should bottom here and go to new all-time highs. The problem is the fundamentals of what's happening in the Bitcoin world right now, for those that are maybe paying too much attention like myself. And by the way, my entire workout routine, my sleep routine, everything is fucking done. So for the last 2 weeks, everything went up the window, right? So everything that I tried to do, so I need to, I don't know. I'm actually considering like just leaving Twitter altogether. Like it's actually a thought of mine, just leaving Twitter so I can get back to health and wellness. Like everyone is like, oh, Tom came back to the Bitcoin world for attention. The last thing I wanted to do with my life is talk about Bitcoin, and Matt knows this. The last thing I ever wanted to do was come back. But here's the problem. So many people are scared to speak their mind against BIP 110 because of the crazy, irrational mob that will likely become dangerous. The mob for BIP 110 to me is a lot more dangerous than the BSV people and the Bcash people, because this is a more emotional what do you call it, mental breakdown of the people that are pushing for this. It is like do or die for them. They think Bitcoin will die if they don't save it, and they couldn't be any more wrong.
What's the S&P 500 doing? What's Bitcoin doing? What do we think here? Come on. I think it'll all be all things, I understand your point. From a technical point of view, looks all right, but there's always that concern, that's macro factors outside of charting. I always just think it'll always be in the chart anyway. So,
well, yeah, well, to me, it is in the chart, right? Like it already crashed. The question is, but it now had, you know, if this was September right now, and this BIP 110 fails, I would be bullish as hell. But there's a long way to go between now and September.
I had a horrible nightmare a few weeks ago. Something really bad happened to Bitcoin, and Tone was heavily considering going into Bcash. This is so funny. I've had so many shocking nightmares where I've woken up and the price of Bitcoin was like at $100 or something. I've had these nightmares many times. It's crazy, right?
Well, I'm going to make it very clear. If I completely exit Bitcoin, my money is not going into any other shitcoin, right? If I'm exiting Bitcoin, that means I no longer trust that Bitcoin is decentralized and there is no other decentralized crypto. My money is going into the S&P 500 or into land or into businesses. It's going to be put into something productive, assuming it hasn't already, right? So it's so funny. So these people on Twitter, I kind of told people I sold everything already and I have zero, right? And everyone is freaking out. They're like, well, why does your opinion matter if you have zero? And I'm like, yeah, but Luke Jur has zero. It was all hacked away, right? And you're following him to be the future of Bitcoin when all his Bitcoin got hacked and he has zero. And somehow he is your leader for Bitcoin's future, but me having zero, it means I shouldn't have an opinion anymore. It's hilarious.
Hilarious.
So the S&P 500 is at an all-time high. We are on a monthly MRI top with the S&P 500, so that's a bit of an issue. From a daily perspective, Bitcoin is, the S&P is about 2% away from the all-time high, maybe less. Mm-hmm. Let me check. From how far do we have to go to reach all-time high? 1%. Mm-hmm. We are 1% away from the all-time high in the S&P. So Bitcoin should be 1% away from its all-time high as well. But unfortunately, we are sitting here at a 50% correction. Explain that to me.
I can't.
Right.
Okay.
So
I see opportunity knocking for that same reason that you think that Bitcoin should be 1% away from the S&P 500's all-time high, the all-time high, you know.
Well, yeah, the one way to look at it is Bitcoin is lagging and is going to catch up. But the S&P doesn't make all-time highs all the time, right? The S&P also corrects 5 to 10%. I mean, it happens quite often. Lately, it tends to happen whenever Trump wants to open his mouth. And the next time S&P drops 10%, Bitcoin can drop another 30%, right? This is the issue. This is why if Bitcoin wasn't an all-time high,
I'm sorry,
it would have some leeway if the S&P pulls back.
You can't say this is the issue 14 years after you started talking about Bitcoin. Like this is what we want, the volatility. We know this is the issue of a volatile asset. But it's not an issue if you're a trader. What we want to see a 50% correction so we can capitalize on 100% gain when it goes back to all-time highs, right? This is, if the S&P 500 had the volatility that Bitcoin had, I wouldn't trade Bitcoin. Do you know?
Right? That is actually true. So look, again, going back to the daily chart right here, this consolidation at the top is neutral to me. Because while we did have a massive rally, and this is how assets tend to find the low, and I explained this on the last show.
A $10,000 candle.
It is a $10,000 candle, but after a $12,000 crash, right? So a $10,000 candle is not interesting to me unless it's happening at the very top. So a $10,000 rebound candle usually signals the low, but this consolidation here, like we need to again go up and go up quickly, and we're still going to have a massive resistance at 85K. By the time we get to 85K, if the BIP 110 rhetoric is even greater, and they're getting like a bigger. By the way, I forgot to look at this page. At least no miner has signaled yet for. At least no miner has signaled yet for knots, and the miners that are gonna signal for knots, Ocean hash rate will probably be on Ocean hash rate. And while I do like, some of the people that work at Ocean, I may have to go on a big, anti-Ocean campaign here. So Ocean hash rate is down 50% from their peak. And this could be the bad weather in the northeast of the U.S. Not northeast, just in the north of the Americas in the U.S. But the lower the Ocean hash rate, the more confident I would feel about knots and BIP 110 dying, which is necessary for Bitcoin to stay decentralized. So let's see where Ocean hash rate goes.
Have you heard anything from Michael Saylor re BIP 110?
So Michael Saylor is going to follow the longest chain, right? Because Michael Saylor, I mean, how do I phrase it? The Wall Street side. Michael Saylor is the Wall Street side, right? So these people, the Knots people, they're so angry that Michael Saylor has so much Bitcoin, and they're so angry that Michael Saylor doesn't hold his own keys. Oh, look, I'm not happy that Michael Saylor doesn't hold his own keys either. But I'm not on a mission to crash the price of Bitcoin to liquidate Saylor. But these people are. Okay, this is the movement. This is the, this irrational Knots movement. This is what it has turned into. This is the Bolshevik communist revolution.
Yeah,
right?
It is. It's like the anarchist mindset which built Bitcoin. I get that. But now it's flying in the face of the majority who were loyal to the anarchistic thesis in the beginning. But maybe they view us, and I say us like tongue in cheek because I haven't been following it, but maybe they view us as a collective as like fucking sellouts or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, because we spend our Bitcoin occasionally. I don't know. We want it to go higher because we like nice things. I don't know, but that's not the side I want to be on, right?
Yeah, no, I want the price of Bitcoin to go higher. I want the price of Bitcoin to always go higher. I want the price of the S&P 500 to always go higher, because it means that there are companies that are building good shit that people want to invest in. I want the price of Bitcoin to go higher. That means people have confidence and they're buying Bitcoin. But you have this group that always wants to be unhappy, right? Bitcoin was started by this establishment movement. Mm-hmm. And the moment the establishment starts to adopt it for its good qualities, they're on a mission to burn it down because, we can't have the establishment buy Bitcoin.
Yeah. No, this is a tale as old as time. It's a tale as old as time.
Yeah. This is why, like, the moment country reaches like its economic peak,
zenith,
socialism just takes over, right?
It does. Yeah, it does. It's a revolving door of that. But this is once again, this is Bitcoin, so it's on heat. It's like a hyper wave of that. This should have taken 100 years to have this conversation.
So my good friend Bitcoin Capital asks, when do you think the silent majority is going to speak out against BIP 110? I don't know. Like, I'm texting with some prominent people that I would love to have on my podcast to speak out against BIP 110, and they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it because they have businesses in the Bitcoin world, and they also need to put food on the table, and they just can't have like the big Twitter mob trying to cancel their business and threatening their life, basically. NVK said something, and now the Bitcoin community is trying to cancel potentially the most secure Bitcoin storage device they have. I mean, this is the mentality of these people. They're like, oh, you're not on our side. We're going to store our Bitcoin in a less secure way now, right? Again, it's irrational behavior is insane.
Yeah. It's not good.
Right. So people are looking at what's happening to the people that speak out. They're I mean, like just look at Twitter, right? Like I'm becoming enemy number one, and I'm probably gonna stop speaking about this because when BIP 110 fails, this angry mob's gonna blame me, like it's my fault. If only I would have joined. If only I would have used my YouTube channel to get everyone in consensus. Like I have the power to create consensus. What's my get back in? 12K. No, my get back in would be 100K. I'm always less interested in buying the dip than buying the breakout. Everyone is obsessed with buying the dip. Buying the dip is what creates trading graveyards. I am a way bigger fan of buying the breakout, not the dip. And
not 100K. I challenge that. I think if you see that wave turn green, if you scroll down, you'll see where the modified Lucid SAR is currently. I think we get above that wave, flip that wave green, and I reckon you'd be pretty excited again. If you scroll that page down, you'll see.
Just on the daily or on the weekly?
Oh, well, whatever. So the modified Lucid SAR is across all time frames, but you'll see where that is at present.
Well, it's at 90.
Yeah, but that's coming down hard, right? Like I think by the time
it is coming down hard. So at the moment, my buyback is at 93, right? Like the prior swing high. If we can establish a new swing high at 85, which I think on this bounce, if we can establish a new swing high here at 83, 84. Then that becomes my breakout trade. The breakout trade is always significantly safer than the catching a falling knife by the dip. There's been a handful of by the dips. This has the probability of being one of them, right? Like I have like I don't know where that chart is. If it wasn't for the stupid knots thing, or maybe if I wasn't in the knots debate, I would consider this the buy of the year, but I'm concerned of this being the buy of the year because of the attack on Bitcoin with BIP 110. So, and no one is speaking out about it, right? Like all of these, they're just technical experts on BIP 110 do not exist. And there's not enough technical experts that are willing to speak out of how dangerous BIP 110 is. It's really unfortunate, actually.
All right, let's wind it up. 30 minutes, 33 minutes. That's it. We do this every time. On Monday, we'll have a massive show. And then Tuesday, I'm like, I don't want to do a show. Price hasn't moved.
Yeah. All right. We're going to call it a day. The S&P is looking great. Gold and silver are rallying. I think they're rallying into dead cat bounces on the return to range of a crash. But gold and silver is crashing. Not because there's something bad with gold and silver. It's because they went into an exponential unsustainable rise. That's why they're crashing. And Bitcoin is just stuck at the low.
Did we look at gold and silver? Are they still crashing? Or are they starting to bounce?
No, they're not. They're going into that, the famous bubble chart with return to range.
Yeah.
So here they are, right? So silver is a little more peculiar than gold, but gold is clean. Gold is making a new high. And I think gold's going to top around, 5.3 maybe, and then probably go to new lows. I'm still expecting gold to go down to like 3,000 or something.
I'm not looking at that. I think that it'll break new all-time highs.
It can, but if it does, then why isn't Bitcoin, right? Something is dragging it down.
I think
something is dragging it down, and it's not the evil governments, and it's not the evil, corporate sector, because they kind of capitulated into Bitcoin. So who the hell is dragging it down?
This is got a great question here. Every time Tone has a thought, he gets derailed on other BS. Also, Matt, let him finish though. Finish the bullshit. You had your time first in the first half. This is a chat show. We're just riffing. There's nothing prepared. I have questions that I have when Tone says something, and I don't want to forget it. And I feel like my questions might reflect some of the viewers' questions. And sometimes they're not good questions, and sometimes they might be what you wanted to ask, Tone. It's my show. You know?
It is Matt's show. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. And we'll try to see you all tomorrow, but we both have an internet issue, so we can't promise anything.
Great stuff, guys. Thank you for joining.
I'm on a cell phone hotspot, and I'm in a foreign country. So, well, technically I live here, but still, they don't give you infinite hotspotting on SIM cards around here. So we'll see.
Thanks for joining, guys. What a pleasure it's been.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.